Heartwarming act by Black Maid revealed a life-changing bond that transformed Billionaire's son. Jaden gazed out the window, the gilded houses of his neighborhood glistening under the summer sun. The sounds of laughter from rich kids playing in their pools reached him, but they felt like a world away. He was stuck inside, surrounded by the echo of life's expectations, and the weight of his father's shadow pressing down on him. A billionaire tech mogul, his dad always seemed to see Jaden as a mere reflection of his success, nothing less than a perfect, trophy son. Yet, Jaden felt lost. His heart was like a balloon trapped in a high tree, longing for freedom but forever just out of reach. When Clara arrived, her presence was like a sudden breeze that blew through his suffocating world. She wasn't merely there for the chores, she came with her spirit, her laughter, and stories that made Jaden smile deep inside, a feeling he hadn't felt in too long. Clara, a dedicated maid with dreams larger than the house she worked in, carried the scent of hope on her skin, a contrast to the lavish air of the mansion. She didn't see Jaden as a trophy, she saw him as a friend. They discovered a shared love for art, creating makeshift masterpieces from leftover paper and paint, each brushstroke telling a story of connection. And those evening basketball games in the driveway, oh, they were magic. For a moment, Jaden forgot about expectations while they played, his laughter mixing with hers under the fading sunlight. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But then came the storm. Jaden was upstairs, hearing his father's booming voice echoing through the marble halls, dismissing Clara as if she were just another one of the countless belongings in the house. "We don't need her anymore," he shouted, no thought, no hesitation. Jaden's heart raced as he sprinted down the stairs. "Dad, wait. She's not just a maid. She's amazing." Jaden's voice shook as he stood between his father and Clara, feeling a sudden pulse of courage. He looked into Clara's eyes, finding a mix of surprise and pride. But would it be enough? The room felt electric, the weight of his privilege and his father's gaze heavy on his shoulders. As his father's expression darkened, Jaden felt a churning in his stomach. Could he redefine what it meant to be his father's son? Could he stand up for what was right? Clara's eyes sparkled with a resilience he had never seen before, igniting a flicker of determination within him. Yet, just when he thought hope was slipping away, Clara stepped forward, confronting not just the moment but the entire community, her values shining bright. As whispers of her selfless act spread, Jaden felt the pull of his growing awareness clash against the familiar shadows of his surroundings. Would he choose the glitter of privilege or the warmth of true friendship? As summer clouds rolled in, darkening the sky, it became clear that battles were brewing not just around Clara and him, but within Jaden himself. Would he find the strength to bridge the gap between their worlds, or would he let the swirling tides of expectation drown him? As the sun set, the weight of choices loomed large, leaving him torn and wondering what lay ahead. Jaden stood there, caught in the turbulence of his father's scorn and Clara's unwavering spirit. Silence enveloped the room, heavy and thick, while Jaden's breaths quickened. The vibrant, carefree moments they had spent painting and playing basketball flashed through his mind. Could he really let all that slip away? Behind him, Clara shifted uneasily, her eyes wide but determined. His father's voice cut through the air like ice. "Jaden, this is not a game. This is our lives. We live in a different world." Jaden swallowed hard. The world his father spoke of felt suffocating. "No, Dad. It's not just about us. Clara, she's real. She sees me for who I am, not what I have." You don't understand," he said, finding a strength he didn't know he had. His father laughed, a harsh sound that reverberated off the walls. Understand? I've given you everything you could ever want. And you want to defend her? She's not one of us. The words hung like a heavy cloud, and Jaden's heart sank that he felt an urge to flee from the house that had become a gilded cage. Why does it have to be about us and them? Why can't it just be about people? His voice grew louder, almost desperate. Clara stepped closer to him, radiating an unexpected warmth. It was like she was telling him that he wasn't alone in this. Because, Jaden, that's how it works, his father replied, a hint of frustration seeping through. People like her, people like us, it's the way the world is. But Jaden was starting to see things differently. Clara had shown him a different vision, where kindness mattered more than wealth, and connection reigned over status. Taking a deep breath, he gathered his thoughts. I don't want to live in your world, Dad. I want to live in my own. I want to help people, not dismiss them. Clara's eyes glimmered, reflecting a shared vulnerability. What if we create our own world? She whispered, her voice barely audible but filled with promise. A world that valued collaboration over competition, togetherness over division. Suddenly, Jaden felt the energy shift. Could they be the change the world so desperately needed? Would his father allow him to explore this new vision, or would he cling to old ways? I just don't understand, his father said, disbelief etched into his features. You're throwing away everything I built for you. No, Dad. I'm building something new, something I believe in. You just don't see it yet. Jaden's heart raced as the words poured out. He could feel a gap forming, pulling him further from his father and closer to Clara. But this was just the beginning of a tough journey. Jaden knew that standing up for what he believed could lead to a deeper fracture between him and his father. The tension felt thick, almost palpable, as he realized the stakes were rising. He wasn't just fighting for Clara's presence in their lives, he was fighting for the right to forge his own identity. With a heavy heart but unwavering resolve, he turned to Clara. She smiled softly, that light of hope bright in her eyes. No matter what happens, I'll be here, she said, her words weaving a fabric of unshakable support around Jaden. As evening shadows loomed, he wondered what his next move would be. Would he confront his father again, risking everything? As uncertainty twisted in his gut, the doorbell rang, breaking the tension. It was a friend from school, and Jaden felt a wave of dread wash over him. Would this friend view his relationship with Clara the same way his father did? The moment felt fragile, like a single thread could unravel everything he had fought for. Jaden took a deep breath, his heart pounding with anticipation. What would happen next? Would he find the strength to fight for his new vision? Or would the pressures around him pull him back into a life of privilege but loneliness? As the door swung open, anticipation filled the air, and Jaden knew whatever awaited him on the other side could change everything. Jaden opened the door, his stomach churning with anxiety. Standing there was Tyler, his childhood friend, with his usual bright smile plastered across his face. But as Tyler's eyes flicked from Jaden to Clara, the smile faded slightly. Hey, man. What's up? Tyler said, trying to sound casual, but there was an edge to his voice that Jaden didn't miss. Just hanging out, Jaden said, stepping aside to let Tyler in. He could feel Clara's eyes on him, gauging his reaction. Nice to see you, Clara, Tyler said, his tone shifting. Been a while. How's school? Good, busy, Clara replied, her voice steady. But Jaden could sense the underlying tension. As they moved to the living room, Jaden couldn't ignore the sharp breaths and nervous glances exchanged around him. Tyler settled on the edge of a plush chair, and Clara remained standing, arms crossed over herself, a protective shield. So, what's new? Tyler asked, leaning forward. Nothing much, just catching up, Jaden responded, his heart racing. But he knew there was more to come. Tyler's eyes were hungry for details. Right, Tyler said, raising an eyebrow. I heard some rumors you guys are close now or something. Jaden hesitated. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Clara, she gets me, he said, feeling a rush of emotions as he spoke the truth aloud. Tyler shifted awkwardly. Look, man. You know how people talk. Some aren't too happy about it. You really want to mess with the way things are? I don't care what people think, Jaden shot back, feeling a fire ignite in his chest. Clara is she's amazing. And if my dad doesn't see that, then maybe I need to rethink everything. The room fell silent. Tyler shifted again, uncertainty spreading in his expression. Dude, just be careful. It's not just you in the line of fire here. People look up to you. You've got a future, being who you are, don't throw it away. Jaden felt a wave of anger rise inside him. You don't get it. This isn't just about me or what people think of me. It's about real life and real people. Look, I want to change everything. Tyler's eyes widened, a flurry of concern crossing his face. But what if I told you I'd heard from some people that your dad's planning to put an end to all this? You might not have a choice. The words landed like a punch. Jaden's stomach sank as he processed what Tyler said. His dad always seemed so indomitable, like a wall he couldn't break through. What do you mean? He asked quietly, almost fearfully. They're saying that if you keep this up, he's going to take you away. Transfer schools. You can't just keep doing this and expect him to stand by. Clara stepped forward, her voice fierce yet calm. That's exactly the type of fear tactic they use to keep people from standing up for what they believe in. You can't let him control your life, Jaden. The tension thickened again, and Jaden felt the weight of his decisions pressing down on him. Tyler looked confused and concerned, his friendship suddenly feeling fragile. Just think about it. This isn't just some high school crush, it's your entire future on the line. Yeah, I know, Jaden whispered, sinking back against the wall. Clara put a hand on his shoulder, grounding him in the whirlwind of emotions swirling around. Whatever happens, I'll be right here. But as Jaden looked from Clara to Tyler, doubt seeped in. Would he really have to choose between the life he was expected to lead and the one he craved? Maybe I should talk to my dad. Face him. Or run, Tyler said cautiously. Running could be an option. Jaden's heart raced at the thought. Was he ready to escape everything he'd known for what felt right? The room was engulfed in silence as they processed his words. As the weight of the moment clung to him, uncertainty loomed larger than ever. Would he confront his father and risk everything, or would fear of losing everything keep him silent? The decision loomed on the horizon, dark and uncertain. And as that thought settled in, Jaden realized whatever he decided, it could change everything. What would he choose next? Jaden's mind raced, a tempest of thoughts crashing against one another. He glanced at Clara, her eyes shining with a mixture of determination and worry. He felt her presence shifting the air around him, grounding him even when everything else felt chaotic. Running away seems tempting, he admitted, rubbing the back of his neck. But that's not really me. I want to stand up for what I care about. Tyler leaned back, running a hand through his hair. You've always been the one to take charge. Remember that time in 6th grade when you spoke out against Mr. Fletcher's no snacks rule? You made a whole presentation, not quite the same stakes, Jaden interrupted, his voice a little sharper than he intended. He felt the need to prove something, to convince them that he was ready to be brave. True, but the idea is the same, Tyler shot back, a hint of frustration creeping into his voice. You took a stand then. Maybe it's time you do it again. Clara stepped forward, a spark in her eyes. You have to decide what kind of person you want to be, Jaden. Are you someone who hides, or someone who faces challenges head-on? Her words hit deeper than he expected. He chewed his lip, feeling the weight of reality settle over him. But what if my dad won't listen? What if he just shuts me down? Then you find a way to be heard, Clara replied softly, challenging him with a stare that felt both demanding and supportive. You're stronger than you think. Deep within, he felt something shift. That feeling of helplessness began to fade, replaced by possibility. I could talk to him. Set things straight. Let him know how I feel about you, about everything. Or, you could show him, Tyler suggested, an idea blooming in his eyes. If he sees how serious you are, maybe it'll change his mind. What do you mean? Jaden asked, tilting his head in curiosity. You could plan something big, a way to show him you're committed not just to this, but to changing things in your life. Something that demonstrates how serious you are about Clara. Maybe even get him to meet her. Let him see who you are now. The thought excited him, sparking adrenaline. What if we organized an event? I could invite him. Invite? What kind of event? Clara asked, her brow crinkling in thought. Maybe something at the community center, like a fundraiser or a small festival. Something he can't ignore. He would have to see the support from friends and community. Tyler nodded, the edges of his smile returning. Exactly. And if people show up, that'll send a message. This isn't just a whim for you, it's your truth. I love that idea. Clara exclaimed, a flush spreading across her cheeks. If we can get the word out, who knows how many people will come. Your dad can't just dismiss it, and maybe he'll see how much you mean to everyone, including me. Jaden's heart raced at the thought. It was as if a path had opened. All right, then let us do it. He felt a strong wave of determination ignite within him. Clara and Tyler exchanged glances, a mixture of excitement and anxiety mirrored on their faces. As they put their heads together, the ideas flowed like a rush. The urgency transformed their poses. Tyler leaned in closer with animated gestures, while Clara wrote things down, feeling the energy bubbling among them. But as the plans began to materialize, doubts crept back in, lurking like shadows at the edges of his thoughts. Would his father really come? What if he reacted the way Jaden feared? Just as those worries threatened to drown him, he caught Clara's gaze, and in her eyes, he saw something that ignited a small flicker of hope. Whatever happens, she said with unwavering certainty, we'll face it together. Jaden swallowed hard, grateful for that promise. Then I guess the first step is making this plan really happen. As they worked into the night, sketching out ideas and possibilities, Jaden began to feel a swell of confidence. Perhaps he could finally break free from the chains of expectation. But even amidst the excitement, a nagging thought lingered at the back of his mind. Would this leap of faith be enough to change everything for him and Clara? The conversation shifted to details, the atmosphere electric with ideas, but beneath that buzz, uncertainty loomed a waiting shadow. Would he truly find the courage, or was this just a bold step towards an uncertain outcome? As the clock ticked away, desperation mingling with hope, Jaden knew that whatever happened next could shatter everything he thought he knew or bring him closer to the life he craved. And in that moment, standing on the brink of change, he couldn't help but feel, the real test was about to begin. What would be the fallout from his big move? Jaden lay awake that night, the weight of their plans pressing down on him like a heavy blanket. Shadows danced along the walls of his room, and though excitement coursed through his veins, doubt crept in. His heart raced, thinking back to the words Clara and Tyler had shared. What if his father reacted poorly? What if he didn't understand? He could hear the muffled sounds of the night outside. The distant hum of cars, the occasional barking dog. It all felt far away, like a different world outside the walls that confined him. He glanced at his phone, the screen dimly illuminating his face. It was nearly midnight, but sleep wouldn't come. Not yet. As he tossed and turned, his mind drifted back to Clara's steadfast eyes. She believed in him. That alone sparked a flicker of hope. The idea of the community event seemed grander than anything he'd ever attempted. He envisioned shops filled with laughter and the buzz of conversations, people rallying together. What if they really did show up? The thought propelled him out of bed. He sat up, swung his legs over the edge, and planted his feet on the cool floor. His heartbeat began to settle into a steady rhythm. Maybe he could outline some points for his talk with his dad, get them down before he met with him again. A plan always made him feel more secure. After grabbing a notebook, he flipped it open and began writing. Tell him about Clara. Express my feelings. Show him I can be responsible. Each bullet point felt like a stepping stone leading him forward. He paused, the ink pen hovering over the page as a new thought struck him. He should express why this event mattered, how it reflected his true self. With each note he wrote, Jaden found clarity. His dad wouldn't just see him as the kid who left for a weekend to hang out with friends, he'd see him as someone who cared deeply about his choices, someone who was ready to fight for what truly mattered. A fresh wave of adrenaline rushed through him. Just then, his phone vibrated on the bed. Clara's name lit up the screen. Hey! Can't sleep? It was just like her to sense his restless spirit. The simple message brought a smile to his face. Nope, but I'm planning. You? I thought I'd check in. Did you have any ideas? Jaden felt warmth fill him. Yeah, I started jotting down things for the talk with my dad. I really want to make him see things my way. Are you ready for that? It feels like a huge step. It is, he typed back. But I think it's time. Plus, everyone else is going to be there. That support will help. Definitely. Just remember, I'm by your side no matter what. Her words were a lifeline, anchoring him in the moment, making him realize that he wasn't alone in this. He typed a quick response, followed by a flurry of ideas about the event. Their conversation flowed easily, laughter flowing through the digital space between them until they both decided it was late. As he finally settled back into his bed, feeling sleep tugging at him, he could feel a sense of purpose settling in. The day ahead was big, and he would need every ounce of courage he could muster. Would tomorrow be the day everything changed? He drifted off, thinking that whatever the outcome, something remarkable was about to unfold. With enthusiasm buzzing beneath his skin, he slept soundly, utterly unaware of just how life-altering his resolve would prove to be. The real journey was only just beginning. Yet his final thought echoed as he slipped into unconsciousness. What if he could break free from all that had held him back and step boldly into the life he envisioned? And with the dawn promising new beginnings, he would soon discover just how powerful one voice could be. The sun peeked through the curtains, casting golden rays across Jaden's room, nudging him from his sleep. Light streamed in as if the universe itself was urging him to wake up and take the plunge. He stretched, feeling the tension from the night ease away. Today was the day. After quickly dressing, he made his way downstairs, the familiar sense of coffee and breakfast wafting through the air. His mother stood at the stove, flipping pancakes with a gentle smile on her face. Morning, sleepyhead. You got your big day ahead of you, huh? Yeah, he replied, trying to mask the nervous flutter in his stomach. I can't wait. Just remember, you're doing it for something important, she said, looking at him with pride. We're all rooting for you. He grabbed a pancake and swallowed hard, just thinking about what awaited him. The community event, the conversations, and especially the talk with his dad, loomed over him like storm clouds. Jaden took a deep breath, focusing on the love and support wrapped in his mother's words. Once he finished breakfast, he stepped outside, the cool morning air washing over him and stealing away some of his anxiety. He met Clara in front of her house, her bright smile instantly lightening his heart. She wore her usual exuberance like a badge, a sparkle in her eye that fueled his determination. Ready? She asked, bouncing slightly on her heels. Not even close, he admitted, running a hand through his messy hair. But I'm getting there. Clara took his hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. We'll face it together. And remember, no matter what happens, you've got this. Just speak from your heart. At the community center, the excitement in the air was palpable. Local shops had set up tables, colorful banners hung everywhere, and the sounds of laughter and chatter echoed through the space. It was the gathering Jaden had always envisioned. People mingled, community spirit crackling like static electricity, yet, despite the vibrant atmosphere, his nerves crept back in. He spotted his father walking through the entry, his usual stoic demeanor plastered on his face. Jaden's heart raced. What if he didn't understand? The thought left a heavy weight in his stomach. Clara noticed his hesitance and gave him a gentle nudge. You got this, Jaden. Just be honest. Nothing else matters. With a deep breath, Jaden stepped forward, his father's gaze falling upon him. The older man raised an eyebrow, an inkling of curiosity breaking through his stoic exterior. You're here. Dad, I wanted to talk to you about today, and about what it means to me, Jaden started, finding an unexpected strength in his voice. Clarity flooded his mind, and he began to share his thoughts, detailing everything he'd written down the night before, yet, just as he began to truly connect with his father, a sudden commotion interrupted them. A crowd gathered near the registration table, and murmurs grew louder. Jaden's heart sank with confusion and worry. What was happening? Let's check it out, Clara suggested, and they made their way through the throngs of people. As they reached the front, Jaden's breath caught in his throat. An unexpected announcement boomed through the microphone. A local business owner had come forward to pledge a significant donation to the community center. Excitement erupted, and cheers filled the air. But then, amidst the thunderous applause, Jaden caught a familiar figure. His heart sank as he recognized the billionaire's son he'd grown up competing against. Would this be a distraction? Or worse, would it undermine everything he had prepared to say? Jaden's stomach twisted, the emotions swirling inside him like a tornado. Could this complicate everything he planned? With the sound of clapping still ringing in his ears, he steeled himself. What if this was the opening he needed to finally break through the walls between him and his father? As the noise faded, he turned to Clara, the determination blazing through him once more. I need to talk to him. The day was only just beginning, but everything was about to change. Little did Jaden know, this pretty chaotic moment would reveal far more than he ever expected. Jaden felt the adrenaline rush through him as he pushed his way toward the front of the crowd, Clara right by his side. The applause continued to echo, but all he could hear was his own heartbeat thumping loudly in his ears. The billionaire's son stood there, flanked by local press and community members who were enamored by his charm. As they approached, Jaden tried to catch his breath, battling thoughts that swirled like a wild wind. Why did it matter so much that he speak up? Did he really want to compete now of all times? Would this reinforced presence drown him out, or might it actually empower him, the boy who had everything? Flashed a perfect smile as microphones were handed to him. This place holds so many memories, he began, his voice smooth as silk. I'm proud to give back. Jaden hated how easily this kid managed to weave his charm. Everybody was listening to him, hanging on his every word. In that moment, his self-doubt morphed into anger. This was Jaden's day. It was about the community, the people who had fought through struggles together. This wasn't just another photo op. As the billionaire's son continued to speak, Jaden couldn't hold back. Excuse me. He interrupted, his voice catching everyone by surprise. I want to say something too. But the crowd didn't part easily. He felt Clara squeeze his hand tighter as stares shot in his direction, some curious, some judgmental. Jaden took a deep breath, reminding himself of Clara's encouraging words. Speak from the heart. While it's amazing that donations are coming in, let us not forget who keeps this place alive: us. The community. He blurted out, passion igniting within him. It's about connection, about real relationships that matter. The room grew quiet, lingering eyes turning toward him. A few people nodded, but silence answered him, and what he feared most surfaced, the sharp edge of vulnerability. He could almost see his father's eyes narrowing at him from the back of the crowd. The billionaire's son smiled, but it was condescending, a practiced mask that made Jaden's skin crawl. "That's very noble, my friend, but sometimes money can speak louder, don't you think?" Something inside Jaden snapped. The weight of competition faded, replaced by resolve. Money isn't everything. It doesn't build a community, people do. Families do. Friends do. His voice trembled slightly, but he pressed on, feeling the initial spark of validation from Clara's silent support. In that heated moment, with the crowd's eyes now on him, Jaden saw a flicker of surprise on his father's face. Could this be the crack in the armor? Could this shift the narrative? Let us honor the families who have poured their hearts into supporting this center. We're here today, not just because of funds, but because of love, he continued, his gaze finding Clara's for encouragement. Around him, whispers began swirling as the crowd processed his words, some expressing agreement, while others exchanged skeptical looks. Who was this kid, standing up in front of them? It was all or nothing now. Jaden stepped forward, passion mixing with fear, fighting to ground himself in the moment. "So I ask everyone here, would you support our community not just with your money, but with your time, your passion, and your understanding? Let us truly come together." A moment of silence washed over the room, thick as molasses. This was the moment for clarity. The billionaire's son blinked in disbelief, the wind knocked from his sails. Claps started gently, almost shy at first, but quickly picked up momentum. Clara's hand slipped into his, squeezing tighter as the applause surged. Hope tugged at Jaden's heart. Could this be the turning point he feared and wished for in equal measure? But then a familiar voice boomed from the back of the audience, cutting through the energy. "Why should we care?" His father stepped forward, arms crossed, his sharp gaze fixed on Jaden. All heads turned to his father. Jaden's heart quickened. He had opened the door, but was he ready for what came next? The crowd awaited his father's response, the air thick with tension. And Jaden stood there, waiting for clarity amidst the chaos, ready to unleash the truths that had been buried too long. In that pivotal moment, under intense scrutiny, Jaden faced an unexpected fear. Was it only his community that needed to hear him, or was it really his father's acceptance that held the key to his heart's longings? Jaden felt the weight of his father's gaze, sharp and piercing, while the crowd held its breath, as if waiting for an answer to a question that hung in the air. The applause faded, leaving a humming silence that felt both terrifying and liberating. He could feel Clara's hand rooting him where he stood. It was a lifeline amidst the swell of uncertainty. "Why should we care?" His father's voice echoed again, cutting through Jaden's determination like a cold knife. "Charity is a fickle thing. What happens when the money runs out? This community, it's out of your control." There it was, that familiar sneer, as if his father couldn't fathom that something deeper than money existed. Jaden's heart raced. He opened his mouth, fighting against the tide of fear spilling in. "Because we are the community," he shouted, surprised by the strength of his own voice. "Just because you don't see value doesn't mean it's not there. We carry it in our stories, in our struggles. It's woven into everything we do." His father shook his head, disappointment etched into his features. "Stories don't pay bills, Jaden. If you want to help, you need real funds. Not talk." The murmurs from the crowd swirled again, voices mixing in disbelief and intrigue. Clara's hand squeezed harder, grounding him in the storm of emotions cascading around him. Jaden could feel his cheeks burn, a rising tide of shame threatening to drown his spirit, but he fought back. If he stepped down now, it would feel like giving up on not just his community but his own identity. "Listen," Jaden said, his tone shifting from defiance to an earnest plea. "Every dollar can't buy love or build trust. When the billionaire's son walks away, when the donation checks stop coming, who will still be here?" He scanned the crowd, locking eyes with those who remained, hoping to ignite some understanding. "We will be Here. A flicker of uncertainty passed beneath his father's stern expression, a crack that momentarily revealed something softer. Jaden couldn't tell if it was confusion, regret, or something deeper. The battle was palpable, he could almost hear the silent fight for validation lodged within that contained place. Jaden, his father finally said, the calm tone returning, you're young. Hopeful. But hope isn't a business model. But Jaden pressed on, defiance coursing through his veins. Dad, it goes beyond business. It's about connection. It's about the lives we can nurture. He gestured toward the crowd, look at them. They're here to support each other, they're invested in more than money. Just then, an older woman from the crowd stepped forward, her voice thick with emotion. He's right. We are a family, she said, waving her arms as if gathering everyone into an embrace. This center represents our hope. It's about the kids who will grow up knowing love and support. More heads nodded, and Jaden's heart soared at the growing momentum, but was it enough? Would his father truly see what he was saying? Would he embrace the truth glimmering in front of them? With his heart pounding, Jaden turned back to his father. Can't you see? This isn't about you or me. It's about all of us. If we just rely on money, his voice cracked slightly, we're missing the whole point. Love and commitment create the foundation. The crowd shifted slightly, whispers of agreement weaving through the air. Jaden felt the walls of his father's armor begin to waver, just as a crack of light fights to break through darkness. But before he could bask in what felt like a shift, his father's expression hardened again. Enough. His father's voice thundered, silencing the soft rustling. You're embarrassing yourself, son. Not every dream can become reality. Jaden's heart sank with despair as the crowd fell quiet once more. His father's blatant dismissal felt like a slap, sending waves of doubt crashing over him. Perhaps it was foolish to think he could change anything, much less his father's mind, but Clara stepped up beside him, her voice steady and unwavering. Jaden is right. We can change things. We've already started. She turned to the crowd, hope illuminating her features. Each of us here matters. And what we bring to this community matters even more. At that moment, Jaden realized. It wasn't just about his father. He turned to Clara, then to the crowd, and spoke from a place deep within. We cannot let anyone tell us our worth. As the murmurs grew, a ripple of understanding spread like wildfire. Yet, even amidst the stirrings of solidarity, he felt his father's disapproval loom large. How far would he go to prove his point? What lengths was he prepared to take to stand firm? Isn't that worth fighting for? He asked, his voice now a whisper, but full of earnestness, a question echoing in the hearts of all who had gathered. Could this be the moment that changed everything? Or would it all dissolve into tragedy, leaving Jaden to wonder if his brave stand would lead to liberation or regret? The silence was thick, almost suffocating, as the weight of Jaden's words hung in the air. Hearts beat to an urgent rhythm, with gasps bubbling quietly from the crowd. Jaden's pulse hammered in his ears while a question hung between him and his father, stitching uncertainty into a fragile tapestry of hope. Son, his father said, tone deceptively calm, this is not the way to make a point. Convicting me in front of all these people will not win them over. It only deepens the rift. Jaden swallowed hard, understanding that this wasn't just a family affair. It was about everything they had fought for, everything Clara and the community had sacrificed. It's not about convicting you. It's about opening your eyes, he insisted, his voice trembling but steady. We can't ignore the heart of this place. The crowd stirred restlessly, anticipation mixing with anxiety. Clara stood strong at his side, her expression unwavering, a beacon of hope amid the turmoil. Jaden could see faces reflecting disbelief, but also a glimmer of something else: determination. More than money, we need understanding, Jaden said, his voice growing stronger. What's the use of wealth if it doesn't uplift the people around you? This center isn't just brick and mortar. It's a safe haven, built on dreams. Our dreams. Dreams. His father scoffed, voice rising again. You think dreams will keep the lights on? This isn't your childhood fantasy, Jaden. It's a cruel world out there. The crowd gasped, and Jaden felt a swell of anger mixed with heartbreak. And it's that cruelty that makes our dreams necessary. We can't ignore the struggles that shape us. Just then, a young girl from the crowd, no older than 10, stepped forward hesitantly. Mr. Jaden, she called out, voice small and clear, this place, it makes me feel safe. I made friends here, and they don't care about how much money my parents have. The small voice of innocence cut through the tension like a knife. There was power in her words, as if she had cast a spell, reshaping the atmosphere and twisting it towards vulnerability. Exactly. Clara piped in, her voice smooth and encouraging. It's about building connections, fostering love, and creating opportunities. Partnership, not just monetary aid. Jaden's heart surged with pride. Together they were. He turned back to the crowd, and slowly he began to see heads nodding, hope glittering in eyes that had been dimmed. Dad, Jaden said, desperation tinged with resolve, I know you value what you can see, but consider what you can't measure. The smiles of children who feel safe, the uplifted voices of families finding their strength, those are the results that can't be traded. This is who we are. For a moment, his father appeared to be wrestling with the storm inside him. That familiar sneer briefly dissolved into contemplation. The silence around them felt charged, anxious energy hanging in the air like a thick fog. Jaden, his father began, but he halted, uncertain. Would he cave in? Would he surrender to the disillusionment that had always governed him? The murmurs grew, and the crowd leaned in, teetering on the edge of something profound. Jaden knew he had to hold on tightly to this moment. He could feel the shift, just as he felt the sweat beading on his brow, a shared emotion permeating the space. Please, Jaden implored, his voice softening. Look at these people. Look at what we've built together. The strength that doesn't just come from money, it comes from our hearts, our connection. His father's expression remained locked in confusion, fighting the doubts swirling within him. Jaden dared to hope that his father might finally see that love was a currency richer than any check could ever provide, but as the tension reached a boiling point, Jaden saw it the resolve in his father's eyes, the moment he realized he might have to choose between his world and the untamed warmth of a community fighting for its worth. The question lingered, would a stubborn father block the light of truth, or would he embrace the beauty and vulnerability? As the crowd waited, breath held in collective anticipation, Jaden realized the stakes were higher than he had ever imagined. Would this moment lead to a breakthrough, or would it echo the resistance of the past? The answer danced just out of reach, waiting to unveil the next chapter of their intertwined lives. Jaden stood at the center of the community event, an electric tension in the air. His words had hung in the silence, rippling through the crowd, waiting for a response. The moment felt monumental, almost like two worlds colliding: his father's world of wealth and status, and the warmth of a community that needed to be heard. As the crowd leaned in, focusing on the fleeting moment of hope, Jaden faced his father, his heart racing. Dad, he said softly, I know that you care, but can't you see? This place, it's more than just a building. It's a heartbeat. These people deserve to feel valued for who they are, not what they have. The billionaire's son stood on the edge of the crowd, a glint of confusion crossing his face. Jaden noticed others murmuring in agreement, as if inspired by the young girl's earlier plea. A flicker of uncertainty appeared in his father's steely gaze, and a spark of hope ignited in Jaden's chest. The room held its breath, waiting for his father's response. Jaden, his father finally spoke, voice tense but less sharp, this isn't how we handle our business. You're jeopardizing everything I've worked for. Everything you've worked for isn't just about money. Jaden shot back, feeling the gravity of his resolve strengthen with every word. It's about people. It's about change. You have the power to influence, to uplift, instead of just save. If you can't see that his father's face shifted, the harsh lines softening momentarily as if he were wrestling with his own beliefs. The crowd swayed, breaths catching as they dared to hope for a breakthrough. Then what will it take? Jaden pressed, his voice firm yet trembling with vulnerability. What will it take for you to realize that this is worth fighting for? The billionaire's son merely stood back, the atmosphere suffused with uncertainty. Clara's hand rested solidly on Jaden's arm, a steady reassurance. Love can't be measured in dollars, Clara called out, surprising even herself. But her voice rang clear and true. Jaden's right. This is our home. We're all in this together, and we have the power to shape it. Jaden felt the energy shift around them. People began to nod and murmur their agreement. Lena, the woman who had spoken up earlier, raised her hand. This center has saved my family. It gave us hope when we had none. Her voice quivered with emotion, and around her, others began to share their stories, their truths spilling forth like a tide. Jaden glanced at Clara, who beamed with pride at the outpouring of heartfelt stories echoing their need for community and understanding. This isn't a place for money, it's a refuge. Another voice shouted from the back of the crowd, and a wave of applause erupted. It was infectious, capturing the spirit of the assembly like wildfire. In that moment, Jaden turned back to his father, who stood unsure at the edge of the crowd. Why can't we come together? Instead of using wealth to divide us, let us use it to unite us. For the first time, Jaden's words seemed to make an impact, a crack in the armor. His father's tight expression softened just a touch, as if recognizing the true power of community unearthing long-buried emotions. This isn't just a charitable act, his father said, with a deeper timbre in his voice, but a legacy. Jaden's heart skipped. Could this be the moment he had longed for? Would his dad finally see the light beyond his own desires? Exactly, Dad. Jaden implored. If we could work together, truly listen, we could create a legacy of compassion, growth, and change. One that brings people together, not tears them apart. The crowd felt alive, a living entity resonating with warmth and strength. They held hope like a bright lantern, illuminating Jaden's dream of bridging that chasm between wealth and humanity. As the applause swelled around them, Jaden scanned the faces in the crowd. They were filled with emotion, support. And Clara? She was beaming, tears glistening in her eyes as if acknowledging the shift taking place within them all. I see now. Jaden's father finally spoke again, wistfulness creeping into his voice. Maybe I've been looking at this all wrong. Maybe we could host monthly events, he continued slowly, glances darting between Jaden and the crowd. Encouraging people to take part not just in donations, but in responsibilities. Jaden felt the tremor of hope surge back into his heart. Yes. That would mean the world. We can build this community stronger together. His father nodded slowly, uncertainty melting away, as realization washed over him. We can give more meaning to what we do, not just rely on my name or wealth. In the heartbeat of that moment, Jaden couldn't help but smile, tears threatening to spill over as the crowd erupted in joy. It was more than support, it was validation. They had made a change, and all it had taken was one voice speaking for the heart of the community. Let us do it, his father concluded, leaning toward Jaden, whose heart felt alight with possibility. And in that instant, everything changed. The billionaire's son, the maid, and the community were no longer separated by status but woven together in connection. The applause erupted again, a warm wave echoing around them, as Jaden felt Clara squeeze his hand tightly, a promise of new beginnings. Today, they had planted the seeds of transformation, ready to flourish into something beautiful. As the sun began to dip on the horizon, casting a golden hue over all they had accomplished, Jaden felt hope blossom deep within, illuminated by the light of newfound understanding. Together, he whispered to Clara, "We can truly change the world." And in that shared moment among family, friends, and community, Jaden knew this was just the beginning. Their story would inspire others, weaving together lives previously thought disconnected. As the last notes of laughter floated on the wind, and the community embraced unity, Jaden understood that love was the greatest legacy of all. It was time to embrace this journey fully, and together, they would pave the way. Now that you've made it this far and experienced Jaden's remarkable transformation, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that could inspire your journey. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because it really does make a difference in reaching others who crave these uplifting tales. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. We want to hear how Jaden's struggle resonated with you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this incredible journey with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread hope and love, together.